1-0. Welcome everybody to the Mind, Body, and Soul TV, coming to you live from our Denver, Colorado studios. We are also streaming on YouTube Live and at Hangouts, as well as at ConsciousRevolutionMedia.com. I'm your host, Coach Steve Tooth. That would be Toth, but I don't really care how you say my last name. So let's just say Toth. And we have been doing this for over 12 years, and I'm not even going to say how many shows we've done, because after all, it doesn't really matter anymore. So we have a fantastic guest with us this evening. Her name is Ronal Wood, and she's a healer, and she's joining us from that beautiful, sunshiny place called California. Welcome to the show.
So glad to be here.
I'm so happy that you're here. And our theme for this evening is how to communicate through touch. But before we go there, I want to know from Ronal, if I take away that beautiful title, healer, and any other titles that anyone have ever in your life have called you by, if I take them all away, what's left? Who is really Ronal Wood?
At this point in my life, I'm real. Best I got.
You mean you stop pretending?
Yeah, all of the layers that you put on from birth and the personas that you adopt when you find that you have become inconvenient for your family and you need to appear as though
and to your husbands and to your friends and
yes, and your children
and to everybody else,
co-workers. And it works to a certain extent until there comes that moment of who am I, and that lifelong process of peeling the layers away and coming into alignment with my own essence.
Awesome. Fantastic. All right, so we're going to be talking about how to communicate through touch. So tell a little short story, just so that all of our viewers can relate to you, Ronal, about how you got to why you're doing and where you're doing what you're doing.
Oh, that's easy. By getting hurt all the time.
Well, yeah. I'm spending most of my time these days in joy and love. So I don't really like to hurt. However, I do understand that in order to feel joy and to feel love, we have to be familiar. And I can't say that I never hurt, because I play tennis and there are times that I do hurt. So I know pain. Yeah. So probably everybody does, right?
Yeah. And it provides contrast.
Yes. One doesn't exist without the other.
Yeah.
So tell us, why did you get into this? Why did you get into this gig? Is it through your own experience?
Yes. I was born to be a very good Seventh-day Adventist young lady, wife, and mother. I was married to a I was married to a physician. I was a speech pathologist, and I had a master's degree to do that and pursue this career that was acceptable to my family and my church.
That's very serious, Ronal.
I can feel the heaviness of it just talking about it.
Yeah.
Like a cloak I had to put on. And so I was forever trying to fit myself into that box, but I had curly hair sticking out all over the place and limbs that wouldn't fit inside the box. And I eventually found that I had a lot of physical pain. So I started going to get massage for that. And my husband at the time viewed it kind of like massage parlor, which is so far
comes with a happy ending.
That's what he was thinking, but it's so far from what the truth was. So I was sneaking to go get body work, and it was worth the risk to me because it made me feel so much better. And I said to the therapist I was seeing while I was on the table, "Oh my God, you must have the best job in the world because you are helping somebody feel better right now. And she said, well, why don't you become a massage therapist? And I didn't realize this was a woman of unlimited thinking. So I had to tell her all the reasons why. I've got a master's degree and a husband and children. I have to do this. And she said, well, I'll watch your kids for you. So several months later, I had my license to do massage. And I did one foot in one world and one foot in the other for a while until it became painfully obvious that when I would do massage, I would feel energetic when I was done. And when I would do speech pathology,
would you say it was joyfully obvious?
Yes. Joyfully obvious.
Okay.
Yes.
I have to put you on notice that I pay attention to words.
Absolutely, because I was using the word cutting edge treatment to talk about fascia, and somebody said, ow. So I've changed it to leading edge.
Cutting edge.
Yeah, you don't want knives around fascia.
Not today. Not today. Oh, great.
Yeah.
Leading edge. I like it.
So I wasn't turning in my paperwork on time at the job. I wasn't showing up to appointments. I was canceling. And finally, I just threw all in with the profession of massage. And I did just, the fluff and fold type of massage for 8 years until somebody cajoled me into going to John Barnes' myofascial release seminar. And that's where I had my first experience of unwinding that was absolutely wild. And it changed everything from that point on.
Wow. Tell us more about that. I'm really curious about that.
Okay, you like that. Okay, yes, here we go.
Yes. I'm a touchy-feely guy. I wish you could do that with me right now, because guess what? I got to tell you this, because you'll get this more than anybody else. So I've been getting massages for many, many, many years. I had hundreds of them, probably more than 1,000 in my life so far. And so about 3 months ago, I decided I always picked female therapists because that's what I was comfortable with. I had some kind of a discomfort with a male touching me. And then as I'm going through this evolution of my own, because that's what this network is really not about, Conscious Evolution Media. It's about me. Because I figured, how else can I show the world or anybody that's interested what this is all about if I don't take the leadership and walk the talk and actually do all this stuff that I do in order to get to the next level? So that's what I do. And so 3 months ago, I picked a guy, and he's fairly young. I don't know exactly how old he is, but probably 24, 25, something like that. And the way he touched me, and I've been married twice, and I had lots of girlfriends in my life. No one ever in the history of my life on this planet has ever touched me the way this guy does. I melted on that table. I have left to other realities and came back. And I left again and I came back, and I don't even have words to describe the experience that I had. And I got hooked. And I used to go to massages every 2 months, not every 2 months, twice a month, every 2 weeks. And now I'm hooked, and I'm doing it once a week. And I wouldn't mind having it done actually once a day because it feels so darn good. And I'm just realizing how, and I don't know about other people, but for me, touching, and I never knew this about me until this guy has done what he's done, how important touching is in the human experience. And I don't think that I'm off about this, and I wanted your feedback on that, because I don't just want to make this a personal experience, but tell us how important is touching in this human experience.
Well, you talked about moving to the next level, and I think that everyone is beginning to tune into the fact that we need touch. They're going to get massages, and many of us are suffering from a lack of touch. And there are some who theorize that what's going on in our world today is a result of our society not providing enough touch.
Mm-hmm.
Loving, innocent, wholesome, healing touch. And you're called conscious evolution, right? And I'm skipping way ahead in what I usually say to lead up to this, that now that we know what the matrix of fascia looks like inside our living body, that it's little hollow tubules filled with fluid that are, and the tubules are transparent, that they function like fiber optics and carry light. And neuroscientists are studying the role of fascia in consciousness. They believe that it is the mechanism through which light flows, information is carried, and we have awareness all over our body. And when the fascia gets tight and restricted, because it's a fear mechanism that constricts and squeezes when we get scared, then light can't flow. So it's much more than just feel good. I believe it helps you evolve your consciousness.
Wow, that's awesome. I have also heard that, and I have not done much studies about this, but I heard that there are people on our planet, I just talked about it yesterday, and you may know more about it, that have figured out a way to live without food and water. And what they're using is they're using prana, the energy, what you're just talking about. They're using the energy that's coming to us anyway, because what's consciousness? Consciousness is just a flow of energy, right? And they're using that energy to feed their bodies, so they're not relying on food. So to me, that's like evolution. Like, what else could you call that? It's like they proving that we don't really need food and water, which is unheard of. I mean, I tell this to some people that are in my sphere of influence, and they just look at me, I'm crazy.
I have heard of that. I saw a whole video on a young family, and they called themselves breatharians.
Yes.
And she went through an entire pregnancy, and then they were teaching their child how to do this too. I haven't followed up on that, but yeah, that is evolution. And I'm hoping that we can evolve to the point where we understand our body and know that we understand it better than anybody else does, and we take a personal responsibility for it by understanding how it functions on a simpler level than Western medicine would have you believe. There are mechanisms that govern the whole body, whereas they're looking at it as chopped up pieces and separate parts that they can tweak, remove, replace with no effect for the rest of the body, and they're often baffled at why a disease process started. And if they were to take a more broad look and understand the role of fascia in our physical health, that it would make so much sense to them that our body is being strangled from the inside.
Wow. So tell us a little bit more about what do you actually do? Like, what I'm hearing in between the words is that a lot of people have physical body pain that that they can't get rid of. Like, they have to live with it, right? And they probably went to the normal, quote unquote, medical establishment.
Yeah.
And usually, well, what they do, well, they give you pills or go to therapy, physical therapy. So, and people are finding that those things don't work. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's very accurate. And doctors are prescribing for emotional things, and it's not their area.
Wow. So tell us a little bit more about what this is, what you do, and how you do it. And are you also teaching people how to do it themselves?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome.
So What this is a view of your body that's very empowering when you can understand that there is this beautiful gossamer web inside of you that can't be viewed with x-rays and MRIs, but there's a physician who took his surgical tools, his fiber optic surgical tools inside a living person and then videotaped it and put that out there for all of us to look at. And it's called Strolling Under the Skin. You can YouTube it. And what we saw were these little tubules that are fiber optic in the body, but they're also very pliable, like spaghetti. And with that perspective, it's completely different than what physicians study on a cadaver. Fascia on a cadaver is not the same animal, but in a living person, this web is very much alive with light. And you can see in a small video that I made, I stuck it up on YouTube on my channel, Ronell1111, and it's called Living Fascia Magnified 25 Times. It's 1 minute and 20 seconds. And it shows you fascial restriction when those little spaghetti pieces stick together, and then it shows fascial release when they come apart, so that you get an idea of what it is we're doing when I am simply touching your body. But the mechanism surrounds everything. It's like the white stuff on an orange that still holds its shape even without its peel. We have a superficial layer of fascia just underneath our skin. And
this is above the muscle?
Yes. Each section of the orange can be separated out, excuse me, just like our muscles and organs can be separated out, and everything is surrounded by that fascial tissue. And you can open a section of the orange, and each little piece of pulp has its own surrounding connective tissue, just like we do, all the way down to muscle spindle and organelle, all the way down to bone, and it's all connected to each other. And that's a good thing, because when I'm working on your body, if I can elicit a fascial release in one area, it talks to every other fiber in you. And so one of the adages of the work is
it's a network. It's just like a computer network.
World Wide Web.
Everything is talking to everything.
As above, so below.
Yes.
Like the pathways on a map.
So our body is really designed just like the internet.
Yeah. Yeah. And that it explains why you can't just treat one part of the body or try to fix one part of the body without having this perspective of the overall aspect of the body. You know, because replacing somebody's kidney is much more than just taking a part out and putting another part in. There's so much going on. But if you understand also that this mechanism of fascia is in charge of fight or flight, that it's part of your autonomic nervous system, you can see that when you hear a loud noise or you perceive danger, your entire body tightens and contracts. And it's that fascial net that tightens. And the purpose of that is to slow down circulation. So if in a fight you get cut, you don't bleed too much. And it squeezes your nerves, so you're numb. And that's meant to be temporary. So you walk away from a frightful moment, and when you're young, you have a tendency to let your body tell the truth about what happened. You kick and scream and yell and shake, and then it's all done and it's over, and you're clean and clear, and you go on about your life. But you're also being told to please sit down, please be quiet, please hold still, which are things we need to know, but it becomes an unconscious pattern in your body. You can't always be thinking about talking quietly. So you're holding in your throat so you don't talk too loud, and you don't tell family secrets or say rude things, and you're holding in your arms so that you don't reach out and slap people or steal other kids' toys. And
I did all that, by the way.
Over time, you become so dignified and so appropriate that you can't hardly move anymore. And your body is being
so you become really stiff. You're actually getting ready to be placed into the coffin, right?
Yes, yes. Slow stops. rigor mortis is setting in.
Oh, that's funny. Oh my God. And there is no better place to actually view this than in corporate America.
Oh, amen, brother, preach. Yeah, that is not a joke.
Just going to well, just going to not a senior management meeting, but let's say when they call like a really important meeting, where like an emergency meeting for something, and all the top VPs and CEO and president is together in that room. Wow. Wow.
A fashion nightmare.
Everybody's probably really stiff there, right?
Every sphincter puckered. Yeah.
And the man could probably hold a quarter between their cheeks and it wouldn't get loose.
Wouldn't drop. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And many think that if you're evolved enough, or you do enough meditation or enough yoga, that one day nothing will ever upset you. And that's just not true, because this loud noise happens and your body automatically responds to that frightening impulse by contracting. And you've heard the term spiritual bypassing.
Oh, we had a show on that. We had a show on that on Tuesday.
Yeah, so it's like saying namaste when what you really mean is
just beautiful.
Of course.
You're gonna get a lot lot of that in Boulder when you come. There's a lot of people in Boulder.
I live in Ojai. Yes, I'm up to here.
They call the tree huggers, and what they do is most of them what they do is they ignore all the negativity, and that's the way to being saved, and just being really spiritual, and just recognize all the good stuff, all the nice stuff, all the beautiful stuff, all the joyful stuff, and everything is great, and there is no negativity in the world. It doesn't exist. What are you talking about?
It's also a good pathway to very tight fascial restriction if you try to pretend that you're not upset. So I suggest a SNIT fitness program.
This is incredibly fascinating to me, because you know why?
Why?
I never heard of this stuff what you're doing. So I am a very open person, and I love it when I come across something that I have never heard of, because for me it's just more growth. I'm just learning something new. And so tell me more about how do you teach people so that they can heal the pain that they are experiencing, and give us some examples of some of the illnesses. And it's kind of funny, because I don't believe in these labeling things, but I don't have a better way to do it.
I have to agree with you. Diagnoses don't impress me.
Yeah.
And oftentimes I'll ask a client, what was the feeling that you had when you finally got a diagnosis? And oftentimes they feel relief and happy, and can become identified with being that special. So
I heard this one, fibromyalgia. What is it?
Fibromyalgia.
Is that one of those things that would be related to what you can help make go bye-bye? Yes.
Fibromyalgia is one. You've heard of high blood pressure?
Oh, yes. I hadn't.
Problems with lymph flow, joint pain, cardiac problems other than high blood pressure, osteoporosis, plantar fasciitis.
These are all on commercial television all day long, every 8 minutes.
Yes, and people make a lot of money off of making you believe that it's going to take you a long time and a bunch of equipment and prescription drugs or surgery in order to solve the problem. But in my effort to move surgery and prescription drugs way down on the list of solutions to a problem, you're going in the direction of first do no harm. If at first you try to get this body to relieve some of that internal pressure, and if that takes care of the problem, great, leave them alone. You know what I mean?
Wow, interesting. So I just want to, I'm just called to just speak about something here right now, because there is a lot of you, and when I say you, that you come up with solutions to old problems of humanity without reaching for drugs and reaching for all the common things that doctors go to. Um, we've I've had I created 5 shows that almost gone to PBS, but this, and I'm not going to mention his name because I actually can't. He's from Italy, and the shows were doing extremely well on cable television and also on our YouTube network. I was getting, and the short story is that he figured out a way to cure cancer. And he's not the only one, and he's been practicing it for many, many years. And I was getting emails where people were like on their last hope, like stage 4 cancer. And they were like, I could feel them crying in the email. Please let us know how we can get in touch with this person, because we'll do whatever it takes to heal. And we were basically shut down by the FDIC. They told us that we have to take these shows off, because if we don't, minimum $10 million fine, and who knows what else. So I just brought this in because this is what's going on, in America, that they have so much power that they can actually do this to basically, scare us and make it, once we're on their radar screen, watch out.
Are you scared?
No.
Me neither.
Not at all. Not at all.
They're dealing with the baby boomers.
They don't know who they're dealing with.
Yeah, that's why there is this new wave of going in search of what actually works, because that's how we've always been, and now we're getting older and we want solutions to the problems that we're experiencing of getting older. And I want the world to know that decrepitude is not inevitable.
Yeah, and everybody, I'm experiencing that the general public is beginning to ask questions, which is really good news. That they no longer just take the information that they get from commercial media or newspapers or the internet. They asking questions because inside their intuition is asking, well, maybe this is not true. So you got to check it out. You got to be responsible. That's great news. So tell us a little bit more in terms of what are the tools that you use to help people with this, and how people can learn what to do.
The first tools I use are my hands.
Lovely hands.
And
I can't wait to have them on my body.
I'm gifted, man. I'm telling you. And then once a person goes home, I give them certain exercises to do to stay in alignment so they don't keep coming back with the same symptom, and yoga tune-up balls that you can roll around on at home to interrupt fascial holding patterns. When you come to see me, here's how what I do is different from regular massage. No oil, no lotion, and we ask that you don't moisturize that day because we need traction on your skin. And we'll lay our hands on your body, and we don't slide or sweep. We let our hands sink in past that resistance barrier, what I call the permafrost, that part of you that's always going, what was that? Who are you? And you get used to our touch so that there's a trust that's established that we're not going to do anything sudden or painful. If we do cause your body to brace, it's the opposite of what I'm trying to accomplish. So once our hands have sunk past that barrier, we push on your skin. You know, dog skin moves really easy. Our skin should be like that. So we push on the skin and we find out where it bogs down, where it gets resistance. And we just hang out right at that barrier. And in 3 to 5 minutes, a melting happens. Things change underneath the skin, and the body says, well, if you're going to keep doing that, well, then okay. And we get a slow butter melting kind of slide. And sometimes it's pretty dramatic. People will, you know, be lying on the table like that, and we just press until we get them to notice they're doing that, and then boom, oh God, I didn't even know I was doing that. And there are pretty common areas where bodies are holding. So after we've addressed those, sometimes the body starts tattling on itself. And they'll turn or twist or lift something right under your hands. And you follow that, and the body leads you. It is brilliant in knowing where it wants treatment and where it wants to let go. And sometimes unwinding can happen. And that is that same kind of thing that dogs and cats do when they get up from a nap and they do that full body stretch with the tongue sticking out and the tail shake. A body on the table might want to do that. And we encourage that movement. We're used to controlling that. But we want to let you have all that opportunity to stretch and elongate. And you get quantum cellular healing from that, because you're the one who's guiding it and going where your specific body wants to go.
Wow, fascinating stuff. So how long did it take you to learn this stuff?
I went to one seminar that was 3 days in 2003, and I went home and started practicing it right away because it's very intuitive. When I teach other people how to do this, it's tougher to teach massage therapists because they're so used to producing a result, to proving that they can make you feel better. So you have to teach them to let go of the result and just be where that person's body needs them and to slow way down. Once you get the hang of that and you just allow for whatever's going to happen with them without trying to prove something spectacular, you know that when they get off the table for the next several days, this change is going to be playing out in their body. And we often schedule sessions one right after another. Some people come for an intensive and they get 3 treatments a day, 3 days in a row. And you don't get sick or achy in the same way you would with massage because we're not squeezing. But when a person is experiencing that letting go, it is like 5 massages in one session.
Wow. I can't even imagine that, because one massage that I get is like, oh my God. I mean, I'm actually looking forward to, I'm getting the next one on Sunday. I'm actually looking forward. That has never happened before. I'm looking forward to my massage session. Isn't that crazy?
That's wonderful.
Well, I'm counting down the days. Oh my God. How many more days do I have to sleep before I get to have it again? So I'm like a kid.
You're on track, and I hope that you do get to get one every day.
It's a little expensive, but you know what? At this point, I'm gonna get to a point where it won't matter.
Yeah, yeah. I have a client who can do that.
It's not about the money.
No, it isn't. And
wow.
My client did not like massage either. He just thought, I don't need that. But this form of treatment is just so harmonious with what works in the human body.
Wow. So how many people are you going to have in this seminar in Boulder? Because I may want to refer my therapist to you.
Okay. I can take as many as 20. And we haven't even reached 10 yet because they've never heard of me or this, and I'm coming in brand new, never been there before. Okay. So it's been a little tough filling the workshop, but I'm going anyway. If there's 4 people there, I will go because I know that they will spread the word, and I'm talking to you right now for the purpose of spreading the word about this modality.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, so let's talk about your book, Touching Light. Why did you write a book, and what will somebody get once they read it?
The reason I wrote the book is because my client was Gay Hendricks, who's an author. And
I know him. We interviewed him on this network, and his wife.
Yes, he is exactly who he says he is. When you peer behind the curtain there, you find exactly the same person. And I loved that about him. And for about 6 months, he would keep saying to me, you really need to write this stuff down, because I would explain it like I've been explaining to you. And I would say it over and over again to individuals. And he said the information needs to go wider than that. And I kept shining him on and saying, yeah, maybe I'll do that someday, until he said, if you write the bleeping book, I'll write the forward for it, okay? And so, okay, I did it. And it took me 72 days to write it, because all of this information is always going on in my head all the time. And it felt really cathartic to write it all down. I thought, you're going to love this, I thought that by writing a book, I would never have to say those things again. And here I am, talking about it nonstop.
I'm not a writer at all, so I don't really want to write a book. And many people have asked me, but I'm never going to write a book. But I'm going to make a movie.
Oh, wonderful!
I made that commitment to one of our hosts, that we're going to make a movie, and we're going to make it in Canada, and it's very exciting. So I always wanted to be a director, because I kind of been doing this, and I've done some shows where I had as many as 35 people to direct, and it's exciting. It's something that really turns me on. So, and I'm very I feel I'm very creative. So we'll see how this movie will turn out. So a real blockbuster.
What is it going to be about?
It's going to be about The Last Key. We actually have a show about The Last Key, which is a game show. We call it a game show. So because we call life and everything else that we do a game. And what I've learned is that most people are pawns of this game, because they don't know how to play it. So The Last Key is what gives you the key to how to play the game correctly. It's fantastic.
That is fantastic. I can't wait to see it.
Are you curious?
Oh, yes, very.
Okay.
Did you just pitch me?
Yes.
I just had the thought today.
Would you put your money where your mouth is?
If I had it, I would.
Okay.
I love what I do for a living, and I am so wealthy by all standards.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't have piles and piles of money.
Well, then I can tell you that you're not playing the game right.
That's why I want to see your movie. So pitch it to the people with the money.
Oh, I will. Don't worry.
Fantastic.
That is so funny, because in our industry, which is, the self-help industry, or whatever you want to call it. I hate that name, by the way. But personal development, self-help, whatever we want to call it. There, and I told you we had thousands of people that came through, and almost everybody has the same issue. They don't know how to create money, create wealth. Everybody has tremendous wealth in terms of their knowledge and in terms of what they have created in their life, and they have most of them have a beautiful life, and they really know their stuff, what stuff meaning their passion, but they don't know how to make money. It's like money is the enemy for some reason. Like they want to give all this stuff away. Like, let's just all give it away, and let's just make the earth, this plane, a better place. And I'm going, that's not how the game works.
Now I'm interviewing you.
Do I look like I care? Okay, well, but you know, we gave you an extra half hour because we felt we needed to. Because the last time you were going to be on the network, we were hacked rudely.
Yeah.
It took us several weeks to recover.
I'm glad you did.
And we finally figured out what we had to do, and it ain't happening anymore.
That's the beauty of it.
Yeah. and so let's talk a little bit more about the book. So what's in that book, Touching Light?
In the book is description and instruction about what fascia is, its function in the body, why we have the kinds of aches and pains that we do, and how emotion is as tied to what's going on with us physically as what we do with our body, and that the fascial net responds to emotion. You know, wherever a thought goes, a chemical follows. I can talk about a lemon right now, and we start to salivate, but there's no lemon here. And certain kinds of leading questions that I will ask when someone's on the table and they're having difficulty letting go.
Well, how do you know a lemon is a lemon to a human?
How do I know a lemon is a lemon?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know that a lemon is a lemon, but I do know that I can describe one and make a person picture one, and they'll have a physical response to it.
Well, somebody told you that a lemon is a lemon, and you bought it.
That's the whole idea, see?
And you bought it, hook, line, and sinker, that was a lemon.
In the same way, we can hear someone raising their voice, and our experience tells us that's a precursor to something potentially violent. So we're already physically responding to perceived danger, and the fascia doesn't know the difference between real danger and perceived danger. So what you're talking about, learning keys about life that really help you, that really work, that's one of them, is having more mastery over your body to know that you have this mechanism that gets afraid, and go right away to letting your body tell the truth about how it felt in that moment, doing so privately in your room, having a little 2-year-old temper tantrum on the bed where you kick and scream and say politically incorrect things, so that you have a pressure release valve and you don't go and treat your spouse nasty or get road rage.
Or kick your dog. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not cool.
No.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Well, I'm curious, what percentage, and I don't know how many massage therapists are out there in the US, but I bet it's more than 100,000, right?
Great deal more than that, yeah.
Easily. So what percentage of that do you think would know about what you teach? About that, I don't even know how to say that thing. Help me.
Myofascial release?
Yeah.
I would say 50 to 75%, and the reason I give that wide a margin is you'll tell a therapist, I would like you to do myofascial release, and they'll say, oh yeah, they taught us about that in massage school.
They do? They do cover this in massage school?
They'll spend a half an hour and show you how to do an Indian burn and tell you that that's what myofascial release is, and that isn't it at all. So most people will say they've heard of it, or if they're a massage therapist, but they don't really know what it is. Those who have been trained by John Barnes know what it is. There's another word called structural integration, which is in the realm of Rolfing. Yeah. And that had the right idea. It understood fascia, but it was trying to force the fascia to let go. And using that kind of force causes more bracing. So people would be on their way to their treatment and already starting to tense up because they've been told to just breathe through it. If it hurts, it's good for you.
That's what I heard about Rolfing, and that's why I never did it, because you know, I lived in Boulder for 12 years, and that was one of the shiny objects that was presented to me and the descriptions that I got from other people, that it's really rough, I wasn't really interested.
Yeah, so John Barnes understands that you get much deeper release when you wait for permission from the body. And the way that you described receiving massage from this young man,
oh my God, it's out of this
how
world.
you should feel.
It's out of this world. It's absolutely out of this world.
Imagine if that was what your experience was like when you went for medical treatment, rather than the, you know, the fluorescent lights and the green walls and the waiting rooms and the waiting and the, what do they call it in Monty Python, the fetus frightening machine and the machine that goes bing. All these gadgets that make the body scared.
Yeah.
Versus going for treatment and having them calm your autonomic nervous system and wake up your parasympathetic nervous system so that you're already rolling through with endorphin and dopamine and oxytocin and dumping out lactic acid, uric acid, and adrenaline.
Fantastic. I want to do that now. So tell our viewers, where can they get your book and where can they go if they just happen to be here in Denver or in Boulder and go to your seminar?
Okay, you can buy the book on Amazon. It's called Touching Light, How to Free Your Fiber Optic Fascia. If you read that before you get a myofascial release treatment session, your therapist will be so grateful because there's a lot of information that helps for you to receive the treatment by that kind of understanding.
And how much is your book anyway?
I think it's $14.95.
Okay, I'm gonna buy one and bring it to my massage therapist, and I'll tell you why right after you're done.
Okay.
Okay.
I still want to make the audio version because I'm my best commercial. Mm-hmm. When people encounter me, they get what it is that I'm talking about even better than just reading a book. But it's a pretty good book, I must say. I get a lot of good feedback on it. Anywho, you can get it on Amazon. And when I go to Boulder, the workshop is going to be at a facility called BC3. I think it stands for Boulder Center for Conscious Living. And it's going to be on Saturday, July 23rd from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And that means for 8 hours, you're rolling around feeling good. Wow. It is the most awesome day, at the end of which don't plan anything else. You'll be so loose and free and loving and happy.
Oh, wow.
It's wonderful. And the fee is $199 per person. And if anyone's interested and they want to sign up, they can go to our website at ohmsanctuary.com, OHM as in mama, sanctuary.com. And if you want to find a myofascial release therapist, come see me. But of course, nobody, not everybody lives near enough to come see me. John Barnes has a website called myofascialrelease.com, and you can plug in your zip code and it'll help find a therapist near you.
Well, you see, the way I live my life is that everything comes to me. So I'm not going to go to California to have this done. You coming to me to Boulder. That's just how it works.
Law of attraction, baby. I'm a big Abraham Hicks fan.
There you go. So I want to finish that thought. And the thought was, I'm going to get this book for my therapist. It's kind of a present. And what I've been practicing for several months now is the practice of allowance, which is, I'm always working on something, whatever that is. But the practice of allowance, which is I'm allowing for all my experiences to occur just the way they occur. And I'm not wishing them to be different. I'm not judging them. I'm not taking sides. And it's been a really lovely experience so far. And it seems like I'm able to maintain it. And what came out of that experience is that I've noticed how much repetition is in my life occurring. Isn't that interesting? That until I was willing to allow it all, all of a sudden, what came out of that, what arose from there is, well, Steve, look at all this stuff that you do every day that's all the same stuff. And when I thought about it, it was like, oh my God, that cannot be. That cannot be me, but it is me. So, and I give you some quick examples. Things like I had a shirt for Monday, for Tuesday, for Wednesday, for Thursday. I had a shoe. I went always the same way to my corporate appearance every day. I went to the same restaurants. Monday had a special restaurant. Tuesday I had a special, and I thought that was combination enough because they were all different. But Monday it was this, Tuesday it was tacos, whatever. And then I kept noticing more and more and more, and I'm going like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. This has got to stop. So I made a deal with my mind. I said, you know what? I really like you. And there were times in my life when I really didn't like you that much. Matter of fact, I used to say that the mind is a great thing to waste. And I said, every time I said that, I'm taking it back. I didn't really mean it. I didn't know what the hell I was talking about. So I'm sorry. I apologize to my mind. And so we made up, we made good friends. And I said, so my request from you is that I'd like to expand on my vision, on my hearing, on my touching, and it's happening. Like in the touching, I have expanded what I can feel. And I'm going to places where I have never been before. And so I'm asking my mind to take me beyond what I've been able to see, feel, touch, smell, taste. Does this make any sense?
Absolutely. And we might be preaching to the choir because people who listen to your show might already be on that track. But man,
Fantastic.
when I look at my parents and grandparents and how set they got in their ways and how immovable they became, don't
totally
believe in it, never did, never will.
Totally inflexible. So I'm changing everything. I change everything. I don't even go to my corporate gig the same way. I'm wearing totally different clothes, different days. I changed everything, and I'm gonna continue. I made this promise to myself. I'm gonna continue to change it all. I'm mixing it all up, and I'm just being in the present moment of that, and allowing for whatever wants to arise.
Those are the kind of folks I like to hang out with.
Yeah, there you go. So it's a lot of fun. All right, so, and you've been doing this for how long?
Well, 2003 was when I took my first seminar. So 13 years.
13 years. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm off. Well, that's a long time. What did they say? Anything that you put 10 years or 10,000 hours in, I don't know who to give credit for that.
Boom.
Has a mastery. Who do I credit?
That guy who wrote The Tipping Point. I can never come up with his name.
I don't know who that is.
Goldstein or something like that.
Huh. Interesting.
Outliers was the name of the book where you got that from.
Oh, okay. All right. So you have a mastery, basically.
Yes. Yeah. And I accept that title. I prefer that over healer because I facilitate other people.
I didn't know what to call you because I went to your website. I always spend some intimate time with my guests on their website because that's where my intuition kind of takes me to who you really are by going through your website. And I was looking for what your titles are, but I couldn't find any. So
I'm not into titles very
obviously
much. I used to be.
Yeah, but
people care.
I have to say something, you know, like this is Renelle Wood, you know, whatever, from California.
Yeah, I'm a master in my chosen field.
Okay.
And people care a lot less about the letters behind our name than they do about what they experience when they're with us.
That's very true. Yeah. Wow. You're amazing. So you're coming out to Boulder in July. What are the dates again?
July 23.
And what day is that?
It's a Saturday.
It's a Saturday. Okay. Awesome.
BC3.
You're gonna be in Boulder. Make sure you bring your bike with you, because everybody bikes in Boulder. They don't have cars anymore. They threw the cars out.
Aww.
It's okay. It's okay. So
As long as things are nearby, I'd rather walk because I advocate walking. It is the best form of exercise for the human body when you do it with proper alignment. And there are a lot of other pursuits that have you sit down again. Bicycling is one of them, and we sit enough.
So wow, you just said that word, alignment. So there are a whole bunch of professionals that it's their passion to align people, align their bodies. So how much do they know about this?
Well, this is an excellent point. And for this, I will give the analogy of trying to put up a tent. You have the tent pole in the middle, and you have all the guy wires on the outside.
Mhm.
Chiropractors are addressing the tent pole, and they keep pushing it straight. But a lot of the guy wires are short or lax on each side. And if you don't address those guy wires, that tent pole is not going to hold in a straight line. So you are set up to win by getting myofascial release before you go get an adjustment. It's more likely to hold. And if you just get chiropractic and you don't get myofascial release, that's the reason why you have to keep going back again and again and again, because you've got fascial patterns that are like guy wires in your body pulling you out of alignment. Is that simple enough?
Yeah, that's very simple. Do you think they know that?
We're getting an invasion of helicopters around here.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yes, my
helicopters really excite me because it's a Hungarian invention. That's where I'm from.
Oh, a coincidence, you think?
No, there are no.
Anywho,
there are no coincidences.
Chiropractors are taught about myofascial release and physical therapists.
More than a half hour?
That's the point, you see. If they can get 4 people on automatic all at the same time, one person on one table getting ultrasound, another person on another table getting ice. I do not advocate ice. And another person getting an adjustment, they can make more money. And myofascial release takes time. And not everybody has the temperament to be patient with fascia, but I do. And to me, it gives a much deeper, longer-term result than just getting your bones cracked.
Fantastic. I couldn't have said it better. Yeah. So, Ronelle, I'm going to thank you so much for being on the network. You have provided something absolutely new, and you know how I feel about new things.
You love
it. and I love that you help so many people, and I want to make sure that your name and your passion gets out there into the world. We did this show and it was fantastic, and it really, time has flown by, didn't it?
It has.
Time doesn't really exist, right? We're proving it on this show every time we do one of these, and we're going to do another one on Sunday, which is when we go to church, which is in here. And I'll invite you to come if you like, and you can play the game of the last ski with us if you like.
Woohoo!
So there you have it. It's on at 10 o'clock. And for everybody else out there that's going to be watching this show as a replay on YouTube, make sure that you keep watching this show if you were touched, moved, and inspired by what Ronelle had to say and present here today. Keep watching this show, because the more you watch this show or any other show that's on our YouTube channel, which there's like 2,000 of them, the more they have opportunity to get to the top 10 every month. When they get to the top 10, they have the possibility to go to cable TV or to go to public television. And who knows what else we're going to create next. So there you have it. thank you for being here. You were absolutely delightful. I love what you do. You are making a real service and helping one human at a time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I love your laughter. Thank you.
Thank you. I love my laughter too. We'll see you next time.
Okay, bye-bye.
Have a good evening, everybody, and a great weekend. Have fun. Relax.
Oh, yeah.
Don't get tight. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.